I am going to be talking about the three most challenging transits of 2019 in Vedic astrology. This is Komilla Sutton, and 2019 is not an easy year. And it is influenced by three most important challenges that we have to deal with and work with. And today I'm going to talk about them. And in Vedic astrology, we pay a lot of importance to remedies as well. So I will give some indication of what remedies you can do and how to deal with these transits and what to do about them. So these three challenging transits. Firstly, it's not unusual for 1 year to have difficult planets. Every year I've been studying planets for years and years, and every year I find that there are certain times of the year that are difficult. And as an astrologer, what we are trying to do is we are trying to avoid the difficult times and then concentrate on the more positive energy in the year. That way, we are trying to find a balance and leading the year in a more successful manner. But I would say that 2019 is particularly hard transits are there, and we should be very cautious. So the first and the most important transit of the year is the Saturn K2 transit. Now, we begin the year, which is, we don't really have anything happening up to March. And on March 6th, the Ketu changes signs. And I am looking at mean node, and I'm looking at all the timings are for California because, I live in California. So all the times are for California, not for anywhere else. So it is on, let me just double check it. So the mean node, not the true node. There are two calculations of Rahu Ketu, and we are looking at the mean node on 6th of March. It changes signs and it moves into Sagittarius. Ketu moves into Sagittarius and Rahu is in Gemini. I'll make a separate video for Rahu Ketu transit, but the main thing for 2019 is Ketu and Saturn. So when Ketu moves back into Sagittarius, it is going to, Saturn is already there. And Saturn is traveling forwards and Ketu always travels backwards. So as Ketu is traveling backwards, it is going to connect with Shani and Saturn. So as soon as it comes in, they're not that close together, but then they start retrograding back in Sagittarius. And from the 30th of April, so 29th, 30th, around that time, Saturn will turn retrograde as well. And then we have this unusual long Saturn Ketu conjunction, and they keep on moving backwards, same pada, same sign, same Navamsha. So there's no relief from Saturn Ketu. And this lasts in a very tight conjunction up to October. Actually, 19 September, Saturn goes direct, and then they start moving separately. But when Saturn goes direct, he's very slow moving, and it takes him time to gather speed. And then they start separating from October onwards. But till the end of the year, 2019, Saturn Ketu are together. So what is the impact of Saturn Ketu and what is the best way to deal with it? So what I find is that Saturn is the karma that we must do, the responsibilities we must face, the jobs we have to do. And Ketu is moksha karaka. So he's saying, give up everything, let's work on a spiritual life. But actually, spiritual life you cannot move into unless you have completed your worldly responsibility. I mean, we can be spiritual, but that total aspect of moksha, spiritual realization, we cannot find unless we have completed our task. So what I would suggest is that a very good remedy for next year is to do all your projects, all the responsibilities you have. But Ketu is very important planet, and Ketu is also the planet of past life. So people may find that some past life issues, maybe not from a previous lifetime, but say from previous years, it could be to do with family, it could be to do with relatives, because Ketu represents our relatives also in our life who we cannot do anything about because we are born to them. So some karmic issue can come up, and you can be very interested in resolving that, dealing with those issues. And we don't know how it is going to represent itself. But obviously, according to your chart, where Sagittarius is falling, what planets are there. But some couple of my clients have already been telling me that, there are some deep issues that have suddenly come alive, even now, even though Ketu hasn't come in. But that got me thinking about this, that maybe that Saturn Ketu is about dealing with our karma, dealing with our past life issues, and past in this lifetime, and of course, something that we don't know. And then Ketu does represent spirituality. So, and Sagittarius is the sign where we think about uplifting our energy, being more spiritual about things. So, why not do that? Why not be more spiritual? Why not do something special? Ketu is also significant for Jyotish and Vedic astrology. So, it may be a good idea, be on YouTube, listen to all the videos. You can do some study, education, because the transit, if we use it properly, we can understand and work with it in a better way. So it is a challenging transit, but it is also dependent on you, how well you use it. Now, I have always found that whenever the transits are challenging, I try to complete my projects. I do my jobs. I don't try to wastefully spend my time on expensive things, on wasteful lifestyle choices. I'll work, I'll do things. And often I get a lot done during that time. I've had many books written when transits have been difficult because you're doing your karma, you're facing up to your responsibility. Secondly, it is not generally a good time to expand yourself. So if you have any planning to expand or do something, then be careful with your money. Both Saturn and Ketu can be expensive. Saturn because he's making you pay for karma, Ketu because he's a past life planet. And so therefore there can be some past life debts you owe that can suddenly come up. So be careful with your money as well. So that is really, I would say, if you think one transit of 2019, it's the Saturn Ketu transit. And we'll remember it. And maybe in the world, you'll see some crisis happening, some changes. But we have to be conscious. And if you're Capricorn, if you're Aquarius, then it's your Lagna Lord with Ketu. So you're a little bit more focus on it. And of course, Sagittarius, where this drama is taking place. In other signs, then each sign, it depends what house it is from your moon, from your Lagna. If your moon is in Purva Ashada, then or Sun or Lagna, then this is a very important and challenging year for you. So, think about it, plan what is going ahead, and then you may find that it's not hitting you in its full force, but you're able to work with it and get a lesser degree of intensity. So the second challenging transit of 2019 is Jupiter Gandanta. So Jupiter is at present in Scorpio, and it is going to go into Sagittarius. But before it goes into Sagittarius properly in November 2019, it's going to have a transit over Gandanta. So position between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Scorpio is a water sign, Sagittarius is a fire sign. And when the planets transit over it, it creates a Gandanta energy. And in 2019, in March 2019, Jupiter is going to go into Gandanta. So it runs towards the end of Scorpio, and then it will go into Gandanta in on 15th of March. And then on 29th of March, it's 0 degrees of Sagittarius, and it slowly moves to 013 of Sagittarius, where it will retrograde on 10th of April. And on 10th of April, it goes retrograde and will be in Gandanta. Now, when planets are turning retrograde, they slow down. So therefore, a transit that normally would take Jupiter 1 week to cross is taking almost 2 months. So not only that Jupiter is very slow going into the retrograde, then it retrogrades back and goes back into Scorpio and finishes the Gandanta on 5th of May. Let me just double check these dates. So yes, it is 5th of May. So the Gandanta Jupiter, very rare to have such a long Gandanta Jupiter from 15th of May, 15th of March to 5th of May. And if you are Sagittarius or you are Pisces, then it is a Gandanta for you as well. And especially Sagittarius, they are already got Saturn and Ketu in the Lagna, and then the Lord is Gandanta, or if you have Sagittarius moon as well. So it's a bit of more challenging for Sagittarius around March, April, early May. But it is generally for Pisces also, it's an unsettled energy. But Gandanta is different from a conjunction. It's just that the planet is going over a karmic point in the chart where things are stuck, and Jupiter going over can release some stuff. It can untangle old mysteries, it can untangle old karmic stories. So sometimes you have to deal with that. But it's also, you know, an unsettled, insecure time. So it is important to take the balancing act at that time and be conscious of it. So the third challenge of 2019, and I've identified these 3 as the main challenges of 2019. The third challenge of 2019 is the 14th of June. And maybe you can take a week before and a week after. But 14th of June is a very difficult day. On this day, Saturn Ketu, they are together 25 degrees approximately. And opposite that, Mars comes. Mars comes into Gemini and he conjoins with Rahu and Saturn Ketu. Now individually they are difficult energies, but together it can be a crisis. And so I think especially for the world, we have to be very careful not to go into some kind of wrong type of argument or difficulty. Of course, we don't have control over that. This will be the leaders who are deciding, but they should be careful. And as far as individually we are concerned, Gemini, which is hosting Rahu and Mars, Sagittarius, we already talked about Ketu, Saturn, Aries and Scorpio, and Saturn, Capricorn and Aquarius. These are the signs that are most affected by it. But generally, I've noticed that Mars Rahu always uncomfortable energy, Saturn Ketu always uncomfortable energy. Together, all of them together in opposition and push and pull, and Rahu Ketu, they always exaggerate the situation. So we have to be extremely cautious and careful around that time, and to take care of it. So it is important not to go into big crowds, not to travel around that time, avoid arguments. If somebody is egging you on, just look the other way, step away from the situation. Domestically also, to keep everything in a calm state. I have been dealing with these transits for many years. They come off and on, difficult transits come. But I've noticed that they are tough, and it's not, I won't say it's easy. Sometimes it's not just yourself, but family, friends going through difficulty. But at the same time, we are doing the balancing, keeping life simple. This is my favorite word, I think, keeping life simple. But, simple expectations, doing things that are not pressurizing yourself, and reacting to situations with self-control. The awareness of this 14th of June as a difficult transit. Avoid traveling on that day, especially days either way. Not that anything, sometimes, events don't happen on the day the transits are taking place. It's like a trigger for a situation. So it's a year 2019 with these 3 important timings for all of you to watch for, and to be aware that every year we have certain areas of great difficulty, and how you are dealing with it is more important than what is happening. Because if you're dealing with it with wisdom, with self-awareness, with self-control, those are the things that are important. You are keeping life very straightforward and simple, following a path of truth. You can do remedies in Jyotish, Vedic astrology. We have lot of remedies. Good remedy would be to Lord Shiva. You can do remedy to your own personal deity. That is the most important, whatever background you come from, whatever is your personal deity, you can pray to that during these times. Then that is very useful. As astrologers, we should not be afraid of any transit, but we should be cautious and careful and conscious that the energies are disturbed. So therefore we will face some difficulty. Of course, you do need to look at your dasha as well, and what your Lagna Lord is doing by transit. So if your Lagna Lord is strong, that gives you the ability to cope with it. But if your Lagna Lord himself is involved in the transit, that means that then you have to be extra careful, extra balancing your energies. So thank you very much. I'm going to be posting a number of 2019 videos. I thought a lot about it, and I think that the best thing to do is to do highlights of 2019 videos. I do a annual health check on planets of 2019. You can sign up for my newsletter and book for that if you want to do that further. Otherwise, I shall be posting more videos. And thank you again. Thank you for listening and being such a great support. Do keep on sending me messages, and I try to include the answers in my videos as well. All the best. And you can go to my website. I forgot to give that, komilla.com. Thank you again.